Okay, so Divya, we will start with your introduction.
My name is Divya Singh and I hail from Bihar. My dad is a general manager in Bihar and my husband works as a software engineer for an MNC. I have a work experience of 5 years in supply chain management. I completed my studies from Mumbai University where I completed my BTech and then I did my master's in operations management. And I'm a mother of 6 children. I have a work experience in Amazon where I have worked with various projects like Kirana stores, then where we have implemented the daily groceries in the app, where I was leading the project in Bangalore, and from there we spread to whole India. And then I have worked on many vendors for the onboarding to the Amazon app. And I worked with Infosys for an IT project, which was basically a Telestra, an Australian telecommunication company where I was leading the project under which I have around 3 to 4 people, which I was handling them. I worked in FMCG also where I worked in the manufacturing sectors. I have seen how the FMCG goods are being developed from zero to the main product, where I was handling raw material and packaging material. And through that manufacturing process, I was
For what
exposed to
program,
technology.
for what product have you seen that? Like, give me any example where
Uh,
you have seen that the
Specific,
product has been developed from zero to the product at the
yeah.
retailer.
Yeah. So for products like deodorants, if you have heard of Yardley deodorant, if you have heard of fog without gas, so I have seen how the formulations are being first developed, then being tested with the consumer, that is the main person brand, and then we get the formulations done properly, and then we go into the assembly line, and everything is being made. And even if you have heard of Sprayment, then we wash, then hand sanitizer, name any hand sanitizer, Lifebuoy hand sanitizer, all these formulations I have hand wash, all these formulations I have seen how they develop it, tested by the marketing teams from the brand, and then they get the formulations and the
So
package,
in
the
general, how
development.
much time it takes from an idea to the product in supply chain to the product to supply chain to the product available in the retailer's place? How much time does it take?
Okay, so first, what happened? The marketing team of the brand comes to us and they say we want this for hand sanitizer and we want the formulations like this to be happen. So within 2 weeks, we give them the sample and they provide us all the raw materials. If they provide us all the raw materials and we give the sample within the 2 weeks. If they like it, it's okay. If they want to alter it with a little bit tweak in it, we again give within 2 to 3 working days to them. So overall, the final product at least need 6 to 7 months to be find the brand, and they are then afterwards move towards the retailer or the wholesaler.
So, what is the role of like most of the product that you have talked is either skin care or we use it on the body parts. So my point
Yes.
was, do you need to get it verified from any government agency, and how much time they take to verify it, like approve it that
So,
you can
uh,
sell this product?
uh, so it's a deodorant industry. So what happened? For deodorant, I have they take the certification, but the brand people take the certification. We don't take the certification.
Your
The
skin.
certification from the brand, they give us the certification, and then and then we work on it. So we don't do it. It's a brand who come because we are into C2H. That is my claim.
Okay. So, if talking about the entire supply chain, which was the biggest supply chain that you have seen in your work experience?
I've seen the biggest supply chain of Oriflame perfumes because they have a very specific need of the perfumes, and their perfumes smell comes from UK. So they have a supplier in UK who supplies the perfume for various varieties of perfume range they have. So what happened when they send the perfumes? They get stuck up at the customs because of various issues of the papers. So we really need to coordinate with them because of the time issue. Also, it's really tough and we really had to manage it. Well, before the consignment reach at the port, we have to make sure all the papers are given properly to us. And even with the when I was doing supply chain with the China, especially for the packaging material, it's very difficult to communicate because my language and their language are so different to understand. Even that, I'm so sorry to say, even their English is too tough to understand because they speak in a very broken English, and I have to make sure I have to make sure that everything goes in writing, because if anything goes haywire, there is a bank in between us, that is letter of understanding happens, and if everything goes haywire, if a little mistakes is done.
Okay, nice. So while all these years when you were working at different companies in supply chain domain, or you were when you studied your graduation and post graduation, uh, do you ever have had any chance to encounter disaster or thought about disaster management as a career or as a subject to pursue?
Well, luckily, I never encountered any disaster, but there were many various drills used to happen for the preparedness if something unforeseen things happen in the factory. Like we used to have a fire drills where suppose because in that manufacturing place, we used to manufacture FMCG goods also, even the pharmaceutical goods like for spray for asthma. Asthma also used to manufacture, and many various things were happening related to the medicinal, generic medicine also. So there was drills how to safeguard yourself when any unforeseen things happen. By fire drills used to happen. Even for disruptive situations like union strikes happen, how to make sure your supply chain, I mean your contingency plan should
Okay,
be
that's fine.
prepared.
That's fine. That was like that. All these are unforeseen situations that you see in a corporate or in company or for a supply chain. I'm talking about.
Yes.
Have you ever thought about studying disaster management as disaster as a natural thing, or ever thought about making career in disaster management before?
After working in manufacturing industry, yes, I did, but I couldn't pursue because of some personal commitments. So right now, when I got a chance to restart my career, I thought, why not what I always wanted to study? Why not start from there? So that's the reason I applied for this disaster management.
Okay. So what will you study, and what will be your focus while you will be here in test?
So my focus would be more about the pre-disaster responses, because I'm more interested into that aspects. I want to I want to make sure that how I can reduce the impact of disaster. How can I make the society a better place so that there should be less less harm to the society, less harm to the economic livelihoods of the society, and even less harm to the vulnerable groups, because I was reading one article when Cyclone Yas came in Odisha. Still, there are so much of caste disparity. The Brahmins didn't allow the lower income or I mean the lower caste to get into the shelters. So that's really sad to think that at that kind of thing, that when Cyclone Yas has hit you, you're not allowed to get into shelter. So maybe in that aspect I can work.
Okay. So, have you heard about this news that while at the time of COVID, to bring
Mhm.
COVID under Disaster Management Act, Amit Shah, the Home Minister had made some change in that earlier bill. So, do you know the Disaster Management Act or Disaster Management Bill that we have right now? Anything about that?
Yeah, Disaster Management Act 2019, which was upgraded, and even the Epidemics Act was altered, and that act was introduced into Disaster Management Act of 2019.
So, what are the key features that we have in our Disaster Management Act?
So we have structural and non-structural measures in it, and we have different nodal agencies in it, and we have a structure like NDMA, SDMA, DDMA, and municipalities and local panchayats. So there is a hierarchy we have to follow it when the disaster happens.
Okay. Can you differentiate the disaster features of disaster when it comes from flood, or second when it comes from a tsunami type of uh, event?
So in floods, what happened? Uh, the if I take a particular area, suppose if I take a content districts where it comprises of Palghar, Thane, suburban Mumbai City, Sindhudurg, Raigad, Ratnagiri. These are the content coastal areas. So whenever the flood happens, it inundation of the property and inundation of the invasion of the life happens, the economic livelihood goes haywire, loss of lives happen. So and in a cyclone, this flood will happen for a long time. Suppose there are heavy downpour for 2 3 days, and then the flood will happen. But in cyclone, what happened? The cyclones happen on the sea, and it will come as soon as it come in contact with the land, it downfalls. So the duration differs. There's a duration between the main difference is the duration between the cyclone and the flood.
Okay. The last question for you would be when you'll be in this program, or maybe you will not get a good job or placement from the program itself. Then what is your agenda? Because you have already worked for 5 years and you have taken a good break. Uh, so what will be your next step of action if you not get placed from this program?
Sir, well, if I go through the curriculum of the test for disaster management, I have seen they will be giving me 4 internship program, which will give me a good exposure what is disaster management, how to deal with it on the ground level. Plus, the experience which I have hold still persists and exists in the market. So, with the combination of these two, though I will not get, if suppose unfortunately, if I won't get a placement with the test, I'm sure I'm still employable in the market. I'll make sure I will make most of my learnings from the test and get employable outside the test.
Okay. चलो ठीक है. It's all right. एक क्राइटेरिया में तुम्हें कम नंबर मिलेगा, ऑल्दो बाकी सब में ऑन एवरेज अच्छा रहेगा. Analytical ability, the question which was ki differentiate between the disaster features, tsunami and flood. You could have it done it in better way, like tsunami short term hota hai, flood can be there for a longer period. Tsunami की destructions ज्यादा होते हैं, flood की destructions कम होते हैं with respect to destruction. Tsunami doesn't come with disease or other things, but with flood like after flood, the number of disease that spread is very high because all the waste water that stays there comes with many of disease. So these kind of differences you would have talked about. So the 3 to 4 differences would have been suffice. Okay.
I will work on it then.
Baki, you can expect more than 75 marks, or just around 75 marks for your interview. You know.
Okay. Okay. So I'll work
Even
on my.
ज़्यादा, मतलब like you can expect 80 also.
अच्छा.
चलो फिर, okay.
ठीक है. So then I'll work on my weakness.
नहीं, work